What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, real quick, gonna just remind some of you guys, please go click that support program. We're at 5,000 supporters now. Number 2 still kicking around, and we are getting more and more people joining. Make sure you guys go apply, get yourself those 2 free codes that are currently going on. More codes are coming, we got 3 more left, so click that support button. And we got some exciting news, guys, some ways to actually apply for the SLA championship and some details about the global one that's coming out. So this is what is going to be going down. Solo Leveling Arise Championship 2025 pre-announcement. Last year's Solo Leveling Arise Championship Korea Season 1 was successful, held with enthusiastic support from our hunters. Exciting battles continued with intense strategies, and numerous hunters participated for themselves to honor the championship. Now, thanks to the support for our hunters, Solo Leveling Arise Championship is expanding globally. That's right. You guys can see here, it is in fact coming, and it's real. The final stages after the preliminary stage will be conducted offline here in Korea. Don't hesitate to participate in the championships. For a thrilling championship to participate in the Solo Leveling Arise 2025 preliminary stages, you're required to fulfill a special condition. Check out the special conditions below. So we can quickly take a look at this as well, see what the actual conditions are. I believe there are some things you have to do. This is the there's the actual trailer coming soon. I believe there's a form you need to fill out, if I'm correct on this. Now let me go back here for a sec. Let's go back for a second here. Does it actually give us the form? So just so you guys are aware, anyone who does actually get through and participates will get 1,000 more points in the Battlefield of Time Season 7, so it's just more points. I think it's kind of bullshit, to be honest. They should have gave Essence Stones or something cooler. I think this is kind of ghetto, to be real, because we already have so many points that we go through that we don't even need it. Let me check out their Twitter page, Solo Leveling Rise Twitter, because I believe they actually have something on here about it. Here it is. The True Championships are coming to global. Okay, so they're just talking about it here. There you go. There's more information right there. There's a teaser. Okay, so it's not out yet. So it's probably gonna be a form you're gonna have to fill out, and it goes right back to this page again. So I'll put this in the link below so you guys can at least click on the page and just keep looking at it. But I think if I recall, the actual right here, train to become a formidable combatant coming soon. I think this is what this is. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So there you guys go. Something to look forward to. Okay, now, something else I want to talk about real quick, because a lot of you guys have actually been talking to me about Blessing Stones and if there has been a new meta. I will say this, there is a lot of information coming through right now through my server for the testing. Guys, shout out to the testing team, especially about Intuit. So we're not going to get into that one just quite yet, but we will talk about the current meta and what people should be focusing on from a Blessing Stone perspective. There has been a lot of Blessing Stones that have been released since then, since we did the last one, I believe. And now we have some brand new Blessing Stones that we need to consider, especially with how the meta's changing. And what I mean by this is it's becoming more lore accurate, where intelligence now is playing a major role in the way we function and we play this game, especially coupled with some of these Blessing Stones. Now, this is the free-to-play account. My pay-to-win account has everything at Legendary, so you guys, I mean, I could log in there and we'll show you, but I think you guys know this already. So let's talk a little bit about the top. Let's talk about top 5 and the upcoming ones that are going to change the meta quite a bit. Okay, so the top 5 have always been pretty much the same, right? And I don't think they're going to change anytime soon. By the top 5, I'm not talking about the survival ones. Survival ones are a whole different story. We're not going to focus on those. We're going to focus strictly on the DPS ones, okay? And we're going to talk about the legendary. The top 5 right now that sit at the throne. Remember, we get to choose 4, right, of the Blessing Stones. Is going to be Reawakening, for sure. Top 2, easily top 1, could be top 2. Depending on how you look at it. Reawakening number 1 or 2. Bloodlust number 1 or 2. So these are the 2 that I usually go between. All right, these are the 2 big ones for me that I deem have the biggest impact in regards to what they do. Sharp Perception, I will say number 3. Definitely, now that we understand how crit hit rate works and how overcrit is a major factor in the way the game is, the game's DPS is function and revolves around. Sharp Perception, Legendary specifically, plays a massive role in the way you will conquer your foes and obviously just play the game and do more DPS. So those are the, I'd say, top 3 right there. 4, I'd say Pulverize, just because this is a little more niche, only because not everything has a break bar, so this is why it's a little further down. But anything that does have a break bar, this makes a huge impact on the fact on how quickly you can break the bar and how much damage you do during that break state. Obviously the 30% is pretty big. And then the last one, honestly, this one is up to you and it's up in the air. It's either, for me, it's double-edged sword, or it's going to be weakness detection, and that's totally up to you on this one. And again, these are the ones we know about, okay? Swiftness, of course, is another one that's huge. So you can, any of these three really work. Again, the legendary is the most consistent one. Weakness detection only works if there's an elemental weakness on the opponent. And then, of course, legendaries use most of the time if you want to do survivability, but can be offset by using Wu as a character, or if you're using Plum Sword, this one works really well. So I would say five is really between these ones. I'd say Double Edged Sword probably the best one out of all of them, in my opinion. That's just my opinion on it. It's the one I use the most often. But then for other times where like elemental factor is a big thing, then this will be number 5 instead, and then this will be here. So the only one I really ever replace out of all the ones I just mentioned to you guys, realistically, is Pulverize, right? Because again, if something doesn't have a break bar, you don't bring this. So that's the one where you replace number 4 with number 5, and you can choose any of those 3 there that suits your needs, right? So, and then of course things change a little bit when you do like Guild Boss, for example, right? With Guild Boss, a lot of you guys will use We Are One. So you know, in order to get yourself a little bit more of a buff, if you're using a lot of the same elemental teams, etc. So some people use like Fatal Strike for Brawn when they can't break them quick enough. But again, that's old news and something that a lot of people are not using. Now the new meta. Now what's up and coming and what we're testing a lot more of is, as I mentioned before, the intellect aspect of things. Right now, the reduction in combat in cooldown reduction, and the fact that Intuit here is now becoming more and more viable and is actually probably going to be one of the most valuable blessing stones, because what we've done, and shout out to Burr and the rest of the testing team for figuring this out, and some anonymous source, they've actually pinpointed and formulated where the best strength number is before the diminishing returns start happening, right? And it looks like it's in the 300s, 350-ish, and then when you put into it, if you have into a legendary, you put 200 points of that, and then your 150, 130 points into your perception, you're actually getting more attack power with Intuit, plus you're getting your cooldown reductions, plus strength becomes better that way, and at the same time you're getting your 100% perception or 99% perception. So this is now becoming slowly going to be a must-have pretty much for every build. It currently is right away in the existing build for Guild Boss, one of the best ones out there, easily, because everything's about cooldown reduction and skill spamming, whether you're running the DPS spec or if you're running the support spec. Either way, this is by far, with Reawakening, the 2 best ones you can have, including Bloodlust. Throw that in there and you're cooking, right? So Intuit for sure is going to be, I think, the big meta changer for Blessing Stones, and is going to be a must-have for a lot of people. You should be trying to push this as much as you can. And again, 350 350 strength, 200 in intelligence or more, and then 120 in perception, 130 in perception. So you're looking at a fairly decent. And those are rough numbers. I'll give you guys real numbers later. But the point is, it's becoming now the mainstay probably for that. Desire is another really big one here that's coming up, but we just don't have enough data sources, nor do we have a complementary one just quite yet. And at the same time, when you use legendary magnifying slash, or any magnifying slashes really, or any MP recovery skill, like magnifying slashes, because that does recover MP, you actually lose a desire effect for 10 seconds, which is a big drawback. So it is nice to have the 24% attack right away, but the moment you do lose that because of MP recovery, it reduces it. So I think there is something to come, or maybe there is something I'm missing here, and we just don't have enough data. But this one here could also be a meta changer. But currently, Intuit for sure is one we know about and how it works. But this one here still needs a lot of testing, and for us to figure out the proper way to use it without having the diminishing returns, as well as having the effects being removed of desire on a constant basis with some of the meta skills that are currently existing. So one way to look at this is, I would imagine, with like Double Down, with Legendary Double Down, which is the Sonic Stream Light version. That one doesn't have MP recovery, so something like this would really work well too. But you have to see at the same time, you do start the battle at 60% MP, and you have to maintain the 60% MP or below in order for this to continue. So that's another thing to kind of juggle and balance. So this makes this one a little more tricky. And I know there was supposed to be another Blessing Stone that was supposed to coming out in the future that actually removes or takes away some of your MP, which actually looks like it should go hand in hand with Desire. So I think this one here is just a placeholder right now for an upcoming meta, or maybe some form of a difference in how things are handled, and could very well be for the upcoming WOBL or the Queen Ant or the new co-op that's coming out. So I know Netmarble's probably cooking with this one. We just don't have enough data. But Intuit for sure is going to be one of the big ones that are going to be a mainstay for quite some time, unless again they decide to change the meta completely. But it looks like intelligence, strength, and perception are now starting to look more viable, and that is very lore accurate in terms of how they treat it. So there you guys go. If you are planning to join the global tournaments, keep an eye out on that. I'll put that in the description as well in terms of the website, and you guys should keep watching it until, and obviously I'll report more on it as it comes out. And I'm very excited to see global players participate in it. And then of course, Blessing Stones here, those are the top 5 with three options there on the top on the 5 list. And then of course Intuit being the new meta most likely, and then Desire hopefully being something that we can also add to the new meta as time goes on. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching again. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.